Welcome to the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Today I'm here with Gavin Reesers,
Chairman of Alexium.
Hello, Gavin.
Hello, Julian. How are you?
Gavin, would you please give us a general overview about your company and your profile?
Thanks, Julian. Alexium is listed on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, Australian Stock Exchange, and also in the OTC in the US. Our operations are based in South Carolina, and we're a technology company focused on specialty chemicals, particularly with early applications in the textile industry. And we have some interesting innovative technologies and some licensing which is starting now.
Your flame retardant products is making news. What makes it different from traditional flame retardant products?
Traditional flame retardant products use bromides and halogens, and they stay in the environment. And in fact, recent research has been showing that they've been found in baby's milk. They get absorbed into the body, and a lot of articles in the United States now, particularly encouraging the US Senate to investigate this particular issue. We don't use bromides or halogens. We use a very different chemical basis, which doesn't use any of the harmful substances, which is environmentally friendly in the way it's produced and in the end product, and it's very, very effective. So we've just licensed that to Duro in North America. It's our first company license, and we're getting a lot of attention and a lot of interest in our flame retardant product.
Who has developed the technology and which parties were involved?
The original technology was developed by the US Air Force in Fort Tyndall in Florida. Since then we've acquired the technology, we've improved upon it and taken it further, particularly in the flame retardant area as well as in the chemical and biological protective area.
You got the award for Best Technology 2009. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, this was an award which was decided upon by the US Venture Capital Association in conjunction with Fortune 500 company scouts. It was from a short list of 28 US states and 19 other countries, and obviously we're proud to win that award in 2009.
Gavin, what is your intellectual property position?
It's a good question, Julian, because patents are very important for technology companies. The original patent application is owned by the US Department of Defense. That has been licensed to Alexium on an exclusive worldwide basis. Subsequent patents, which are in Alexium's own name, were developed by Alexium, are owned 100% by Alexium, and we've got patents which have been granted in UK, Singapore and Hong Kong.
Your products have large markets. Could you give us an example?
Yes, if we take the flame retardant example, that's 40,000 tonnes a year. And there are other companies earning revenues across in different jurisdictions of $250 million a year, revenues just on some FR products. We also have applications in general waterproofing and oil proofing, and these are used around the world in textiles, and there's applications in paints, so there's quite a variety of where we can put our product.
What markets will you develop next for your product?
We're looking at the composite market. So take, for example, the aircraft industry. Yeah. You have a requirement for flame retardant products on aircraft, on upholstery, on carpets, and also in bulkheads. And if you consider that a plane must be lightweight, the materials must be strong, they must be abrasive resistant, they must have a tensile strength, but also they must be flame retardant. Otherwise, it's a very dangerous situation in a plane full of fuel. And our products particularly lend themselves to aircraft industry, given that we can now take nylon and make it flame retardant, and we're working towards composites and building materials in that area.
You recently signed an important North American license with Duro, one of America's largest textile finishing companies. Would you please give us some information about that?
Thank you, yes. This was announced at Textile in a conference in Atlanta in April this year. It drew a lot of interest. It's because it's the flame retardant nylon. It's the first time nylon has ever been made in the world to be flame retardant. Duro are a very significant company in that market. The license is for nylon, not other textiles, and it is for North America alone. And as I've said earlier, the target market is about 4 million yards. The next stage is with Duro. We can discuss other applications, whether it's nylon cotton, it can be with other companies as well. So it's a fast-growing area for us.
Tell us about the relationship with the Department of Defense.
This is obviously a key relationship. The US Department of Defense, through the Air Force Base at Fort Tyndall, originally discovered the microwave technology application. At that point, there was no military use for it, and so we were able to acquire that and develop it further ourselves. The US Department of Defense, of course, now is looking at the technology for applications which will help maintain lives and equipment. So they're looking at paints in particular, paint for aircraft, paint for ships and tanks, and of course on their uniforms, particularly with reference to chemical biological issues, the flame retardants, and of course the durability. And we have regular requests for work to be done by what's called the Natick Soldier Centre, and some of this is future materials type work, which we do, and we do it at their cost. It's a good, strong relationship, and we expect it to grow. US Department of Defense has already spent over $30 million on the technology through that process.
Could you please give us an overview of Alexium's financial situation?
Certainly. We're a small company. We have a small cash burn. We have most of our operations are in South Carolina. But because we're a intellectual property-based company, we don't need production facilities. We have our own facility where South Carolina State gave us a tax rebate, training incentives, etc. And with our low overheads, with the licensing coming in, we are in a good position going forward. We have over $1 million in cash, but if we take the Duro license by itself, if you expect to sell, say, 4 million linear yards over time of flame retardant nylon, and if you look at the royalty we will receive on that, it gives us a very strong cash position going forward. And of course, that is just one license just for North America and just on one area, which is nylon. And we can have a number of other licenses in other jurisdictions, in other products. And so we are very excited about the financial future.
You had some large institutional shareholders already. How did you attract them?
It's a good question. Unusually for a small company, we have 27% of our company owned by institutions out of Europe and North America. Now, these institutions can see the large market potential for the products that we have. They can see the quality of the management. In fact, they know the management from previous successful transactions that they've worked with us on, and they can see also the potential revenues that can come from this product. So that's what's attracted them. Take a long-term view, and they know that the markets initially is a liquid because it's a small company, but they're prepared to come on the journey with us because of their trust in the people and the technology.
You developed your technology to be green. Why was this of importance, and what makes it green?
There's a couple of interesting points here. One is that in terms of new product, if you're starting from scratch, you should start to make it from a green perspective. The world is moving towards greener products, and if you're not green, it's actually quite expensive in the long run. So we started with the idea of how do we make chemical products which not only take account of existing legislation but potential future legislation to regulate against harmful chemicals. And the other aspect is also not just the environment from the chemicals, it's also in terms of using lower energy. The microwave unit we use is a household microwave. It uses cold energy, so it's a little energy use versus conventional ovens. In terms of the chemical processes, we don't use any harmful surfactants or any harmful emulsifiers. It's water-based, which is another very, very important aspect. The third application is that the world is moving away from what's called C8 fluorocarbons towards C6 because it's easier on the environment when you make them. Now, we understood all of those things and worked towards from the start to meet those requirements and exceed them, which is what we have done. So it's not only beneficial to the environment and to our business, but it's also effective products and costs and saving money for our clients as well.
What is the future of Alexium? How will it evolve, and do you think will it be taken over in the future?
In terms of the business, we are steadily growing. It's too early at this stage to be taken over. If we get the takeover approach, we haven't really achieved the full value of what we can do with this company. However, in 3 years' time, I think people will see, that is, acquiring companies will see the value in what we have as specialty chemicals. It's something that can be added to another larger chemical company, and I suspect we'll probably get an approach at that point. We're not a manufacturer. We develop the intellectual property, we develop a product and then license it out. So for a chemical company, it would be a good bolt-on strategy to pick Alexium up and add to their chemical suite of products.
So Gavin, thank you for answering my questions, and thank you for having me on the stock market today.
Thanks, Julian. Thanks. Good to be here.